Welcome to Prasad Pod. I'm your host, Jarrell Prasad.
And I'm Paul Campbell.
So we have plenty of eventful and interesting topics to talk about today. We're going to talk about the USAID spending that has been uncovered by Elon Musk and his team, and the Doge. And we're going to also talk about a couple of executive orders Trump has pushed out. And we'll also wrap the episode up by, delving into our favorite topic, XRP. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right. So we got a jam-packed episode for you today. I'm going to share my screen real quick because I wanted to highlight some things that our government has been wasting our tax money on. So, Jarrell, let me ask you something. Have you spent your whole life working really hard, not breaking the law, and trying to do the right thing and make as much money legally for your family as you can?
Yeah, I have. I've never been never went to jail. And I work really hard and I pay my taxes every single year. And I've never had a handout. Everything I have in my life, I've worked hard for, and I was never handed anything or given anything. So, this list that you're about to go through just kind of makes me a little upset.
Well, I, as someone who also has worked very hard in their life and was never given a hand up and, had to earn everything that they were given or, not given, but earned everything that they have, excuse me. It is quite vexing when I see if I had just known the right people in government, I could have done ridiculously inefficient and crazy things, all in the name of well, I don't even know, just in
Social
the
justice.
yeah, right, it's social justice and whatnot. And so we're going to go over some points. USAID. Here are the top USAID fund allocations that have been highlighted as the most ridiculous by public sentiment and scrutiny from the Department of Government Efficiency. $1.5 million to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbian workplaces and business communities. Serbia. Do you know how much DEI they have in Serbia? None. They're only Serbs. That's it. Where are
Yeah.
you? Where is $1.5 million going? And are you paying people to? And we're gonna. But I have so many of these. We're gonna buzz through these real quick. But we can't mention all of those. But just think. Be a critical thinker when you're thinking these are your and my money. We work really hard. We work overtime to put food on the table. We miss family holidays because we have to work on a holiday. You know, and they're sending $70,000 to promote a DEI themed musical in Ireland. Hundreds of $1,000s to nonprofit linked to designated terrorist organizations, even after Inspector General investigation was launched. Millions of dollars to EcoHealth Alliance, which is involved in research of the Wuhan lab. Oh wait, I thought we weren't funding these Wuhan labs. There's there's 27 of them, but we're not allowed to know that. How many labs there were in Ukraine and in Wuhan that were working on COVID? Hundreds of thousands of meals that allegedly went to Al Qaeda. Uh, Funding for personalized contraceptive birth devices in developing countries. No,
Yeah.
condoms for Gaza.
Yeah, yes. What was it? It was like $20 million to send condoms to Gaza. I mean, those people are getting bombs dropped on them every day. I don't think they have time to use condoms. They need to actually reproduce as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
So
really.
definitely no time for condoms.
Yeah, their population just took a huge hit. They don't need condoms right now. 6 million for non-emergency funding for redundant administration supports for the Center of Excellence. What's the Center of Excellence? What the hell could that possibly even do that is beneficial to the world? Tell me how the $6 million that were sent to the Department of Excellence or the Center of Excellence has improved your life, American taxpayer. 3 million.
So
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, so none of these things that they spent the money on actually improves or benefits America or American citizens in any way. None of these. So I mean, just to you know, delve into it. I mean, because we don't have to go over every one, but just delve into it. It's like they're creating slush funds. They're just laundering money through these fake organizations. I mean, and they're using DEI and diversity inclusion and transgender awareness. Like, there's not that many trans people in the world. I mean, and then they're sending millions of dollars for trans awareness. But this money is going to, line the pockets of people who are in bed with them,
Oh,
so to
100%.
speak.
And aren't we all keenly aware of trans people at this point? Like, but we need more for awareness. 6 million for tourism in Egypt. Like, come on, guys. And the thing is, take a screenshot of this. If you're watching on TikTok or on YouTube, you can take a quick screenshot. But like, look at this.
Look at that one, 2 million for transgender healthcare in Guatemala.
Yeah, that's what the Guatemalans need. That's what not money to fix the potholes in the road leading up to my house. No, I need $2 million. Think, to go to 47,000 transgender opera in Colombia through the State Department, and 32 million transgender comic book in Peru. We're spending, how much $32,000 is in Peru? You're
Yeah.
living like a king there. So, like, again,
Now here's my question. Are they actually producing these things? I mean, does any of the stuff that they're saying, like, is this can I actually see the comic book? Is there actually a comic book? Did somebody write that? Is there actually a center dedicated for transgender healthcare? And did they construct a building? No, they didn't do any of this stuff. There's no audit. And do these people have to pay this money back? I mean, because this money's gone. They already paid it. These countries, or not these countries, but the people behind these ridiculous requests have already received their money. Is what I'd like to see is Trump go in and say, hey, you got to pay this back. This is not a handout. Show me the evidence that you used the money for exactly what you said you were going to use it for. And I bet none of them can.
Think about how the government works. So, like, for your example earlier, if you just do transgender awareness, right? Like, how do you quantify the awareness levels, and whether or not that's a success in that area? How do you even quantify whether the money is being used successfully? Well, you can't. That's the whole point. Because if you secure federal funding and you get $2 million a year to do what, let's just say it's for this Guatemala thing. If I'm some, representative living in Guatemala and I'm on the take and I have my coffers that I got to pay up to, and this is my funding, well, what do? You renew it next year. That's why the debt keeps going up. They always, the budget always has to go up. This debt ceiling has to go up because there's no way to quantify if this was successful or not. Once you secure the funding, you re-up next year and the year after that and the year after that. Like, these are just the most recent examples, and it seems ridiculous because, like, DEI is more or less like, and the LGBT, the trans stuff. This is more or less these new concepts that have come basically since the Obama administration, or at least they existed before, but they were really ramped up because
Yeah.
everybody's on the take, everybody's getting paid for it, and it's like a spider web of, and every different turn is somebody else getting paid, in this spider web of money laundering, which
Yeah.
is effectively what this
And
is.
it makes you want to think, like, hey, can I just say you know, um, I want $2 million from the government to drop a tranny, change the transmission in a car. If I put the word tranny in there, would they send me $2 million, or do I have to be part of their hitting community and have an agenda? Because how do I get this money? I mean, I
I
could
want
use
two
two
million
million
dollars.
dollars. I can make that stretch. I don't even need it renewed every day.
I bet if you had started a program to change the genders of cars and it was just changing the transmissions, it would be successful. But yeah, take a screenshot of this. But like, and I use the word money laundering a lot on this pod, as and you might be thinking like it's a little inflammatory or whatever. No, Literally, we have direct examples of Chelsea Clinton getting paid $84 million in foreign aid. Direct, like this isn't up for debate. This is a fact of the matter. Look, I found this chart online, and you can go research this yourself. But look, she's a part of all of these different coalitions of these, community foundations, Environmental Defense Fund Incorporated, and you can see how much money is going to the Bill and Hillary and Chelsea Clinton Foundation, right? The Clinton Foundation is their money laundering operation. And some of our viewers might be too young to know this, but when Clinton left the White House, he declared bankruptcy. And I think that was his cover story, but he's saying, "Oh, I don't have any money. Look, I was so good at," because it was like a meme even back in the 90s of how good he was at, getting donations and raising money for his campaign, right? Money laundering. And then when he left the White House, they declared bankruptcy. And since then, they get all of their money through their foundation. Well, the foundation is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So why would a former president's foundation be worth so much money unless he was peddling influence, right? Or ensuring that everybody gets paid, right? Because they're all part of the same octopus of evil. The tentacles go everywhere. But look, they're paying each other. We have direct evidence that supports what we've been saying on this podcast for so long. And all right, so obviously she's one of them. She's making good money there. And look at this. If you don't play by their rules, though, they withhold the money from you. Remember when Biden said to the Ukrainian ambassador, "You're not getting the $1 billion unless you drop the investigation into my son for his dealings with Burisma"? Burisma got direct U.S. aid for years and years and years. Why were we giving Ukrainian energy companies billion-dollar loans that they never have to pay back? It's never going to get audited. So if you don't play by their rules, if you're not one of them, they'll take the money away if you're not going to play the game the way they want you to play it.
Yeah, and then Zelensky's asking, where's his $100 billion that Biden promised him? $100 billion to fund a war that isn't United States' war.
U.S.
Can you believe that?
U.S. aid gives out $1 billion a week, and it's our tax money. $1 billion a week of our, and this is just one organization.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, you guys. I mean, this is your tax money. You're working 40, 80 hours a week, and your paycheck is basically cut in a third because, it's going to taxes. And this is what they're doing with your money. They're, just laundering it for themselves. They're hooking up their buddies. They're, boosting their banks. Like, seriously, this is what the left and the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, even before Trump, was guilty of this. I remember when George Bush, at the start of the recession, George Bush was gaslighting the American people, saying, "Y'all are taking too many vacations. That's the whole reason the economy is crashing." I'm like, I never took a vacation.
Right. I never get I work all the time. I haven't had a vacation.
Like, I work all the time. I haven't taken a break and went to Disney World. Like, where are these vacations that people are talking about? I'm still paying taxes. I'm working. I work all year to pay taxes, right? And I'm paying taxes all year. And then when I file taxes, just because I'm a two-income household, I have to pay more taxes to the government at the end of the year when it's tax time, you know? So where am I catching a break? I'm not catching a break. That's why I live in Delaware, so I don't have to pay sales tax on items. The taxes are really killing us. This is literal definition of why we left England and started our own nation. Taxation without representation. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're laundering our money so the rich can become richer. And I mean, I would benefit from an extra $1,000 in my check.
Yeah, think of this segues nicely into taxes. Because and what the tax breaks are going to be, because it's clear. And one point that you made up, or that you brought up, and that I wanted to make a highlight a little bit. This has been going on for a long time, and and the Democrats have been doing this, which means the Republicans knew they were doing this and they did nothing about it. So this isn't a left-right thing. because Trump is his own, he's MAGA, that's his own party. The Republicans have to play along because their base, the conservative group in America support Trump. But the Republicans in power knew this was going on and did nothing about it. So I'm not, and I'm sure they were doing all the same stuff. This is just, we can only go out, this is the news that's come out this week. So this is what we're using. But I can't wait to hear about the military spending, or the right wing groups that were paying each other that, the money wasn't helping anybody.
Yeah, I could tell you there's a lot of fraud in the military spending. I mean, there are people that just show up with a briefcase full of money and hand it to some guy in a trench coat to go fund a war or some crazy black op that the Congress will never even hear of. It's crazy. It's ridiculous, and I've seen a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse for a lot of just everyday stuff in the military. I mean, I wish Trump would appoint me to help find the military spending, find all the fraud, waste, and abuse there, because I could definitely do that.
It's bad. I have a lot of friends in the military. Never personally joined, but like I've heard, I've got a lot of stories as well that I've heard. So 100%. And well, if all of this is our tax money that is funding these things, maybe it's time that we cut our taxes. And we wanted to watch a quick video of the Don real quick. Let's see what he has to say about his economic plan moving forward.
Again, it's going to happen very quickly.
Give us some volume.
The United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. The United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee, was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money, and that was all made through tariffs. We had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
So that's full right there. To tax other nations to enrich our citizens instead of taxing the citizens.
What if, as part of cutting off all the foreign aid, not only through just ending the government programs, but also no longer get a federal income tax on citizens, Trump has talked about doing not an IRS, but an ERS, an external revenue service. And the thought is that all of these ridiculous programs that like USAID and, the other, foreign aid company, institutions, establishment of that ilk, what if he's prepping to go to these countries and say, listen, we gave, let me get an example here. We gave $3.3 million for being LGBTQ in the Caribbean. So Caribbean country, whatever, you have to pay us back $3.3 million. I mean, why not? I mean, if they can't pay it back, then you tariff them, or or whatever. Because again, it's a two-party interaction where you have the government sending money to another corrupt government somewhere overseas, or an NGO, which are non-governmental. No, they're governmental. They wouldn't exist without the government. They're parasites. So yeah, cut our taxes. Think about all you could do with a third of your paycheck back in your wallet every single payday. It would help us out immensely as average people living in America.
Yeah, I mean, I would have more money to invest into things like XRP, crypto. That's how you escape the poverty system. You have additional money to put back in the economy and boost the economy. Yeah, if you tariff other nations, then the price of goods may increase, but you're getting more money. The price of goods have been increasing for years. Everything has just been getting more expensive every single year and going on and up. I just turned 40 this year. My wife bought me this lovely banner, and it said it said 1985, and it showed like the price uh, of gas and eggs and milk and everything in 1985. And from 1985 to now, it's like, the increase, everything is just ridiculous. And you know, income wages haven't gone up. People are still making, the oh, we can live off a $30,000 wage, but no, you can't, because the price of everything has gone up. So I don't mind the prices going up a little bit, and people need to understand that. If the price in goods go up just a little bit, but you have more money, you can afford the goods. You know, uh, you get more back. If you're not paying, I pay, like, throughout the year, I'm paying like over $30,000 in taxes throughout my paycheck, and then at the end of the year, I still have to pay the government back more money. Like, you didn't collect enough. I claimed zero. So you're taking out the maximum amount of taxes. Oh, just because my kids have aged out, now I don't get any income back. I owe you more money.
Mhm.
So it doesn't make sense. And people need to understand that what they're doing is very crooked, and it's very unreasonable to the American people. And I'm glad Donald Trump is shaking up the system. I'm like, I'm not a Trump loyalist, but this is something that needed to be done. This is what the country has needed for a long time. And people who are just hate this man and are just blinded by the propaganda of everything. They can't see the benefit to them. They rather hate Donald Trump and see people like Kamala Harris take charge and think it's progressive, and it's helping people, but it's not. This is what's going to help people, putting more money in their pocket. Trump says we're going to win so much that we're going to be sick of winning. And, I don't think I'm ever going to get sick of winning. I'm sure he's not sick of winning.
Yeah, and all the tax money that we pay it is going to these ridiculous programs and this ridiculous foreign aid. We haven't even gotten to the internal stuff yet. And the moral high ground and virtue signaling that the left has taken, they're not saying these programs are ridiculous and obviously this is money laundering and everybody is on the take. What they say is, oh, starving kids in Africa aren't going to get aid anymore. They're all going to die. They weren't getting that money to begin with. And so let's stop these slush funds. Let's stop the lies and making sure that the 1% are getting richer and richer and richer while the rest of us, struggle through our daily lives and are overworked and underpaid. And also the con that this whole thing is, one of the worst parts, to me, has been the moral high ground that they're trying to take and say, like, that, oh, that I voted for, I'm a hypocrite. So, like, is what they're trying to say I am, right? Because I support Trump. Trump is going to cut all this foreign aid. It's going to hurt children. Therefore, you hate children and you want them to die, right? That's basically the liberal logic 101 is I'm better than you because even if the mechanism for what I want to happen is corrupt and ineffective, the fact that I want it means that I'm better than you. It doesn't matter if it actually works, right? So obviously this doesn't make any sense. This is the modern left. And one point that anytime you get into like these foreign aid, these social programs and everything, they always try to take the moral high ground when in reality you can't tax charity. Okay. We've been talking this whole time. Wouldn't it be great if we had like our tax money back? It would help us out in our paying our bills and stuff. Well, if we really had, a livable income and, for the modern day, everybody has a house, everybody has a car, nobody's in debt. Like if that was the norm for every person in America, imagine what would be going on at the churches, at real grassroots charities, in how you could help out your community instead of having the government say we'll do it for you. You don't even need to worry about where your charity money is going because we'll take care of it and send it to our foreign aid friends. No, I should be able to determine with my money how it helps people. Not the government knows what to do with my money better than me. So if there's a program, Little Sisters of the Poor, or whatever you like, helping addicts get clean, with all the extra income that we would have if our taxes were cut, we could use our money to help people. You cannot tax charity out of people, because as soon as it leaves your hands and it goes to a middleman, which is the government, it's gone. It's going to be used for evil. There's no good in them. It's just a money laundering operation. And one of the points that we wanted to bring up is this one, which is very important because, well, I'll just let Don say it.
Signing an executive order to make our Attorney General, who's a great person, she's going to be a great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the head of a task force, brand new, to eradicate anti-Christian bias. About time, right? Anti-Christian bias.
Yeah, and with that, that's amazing, because this whole separation of church and state, and targeting religious beliefs. I mean, as a Christian, I feel persecuted. I'm sure Paul has felt persecuted in his life. I mean, it's crazy. Like, you see street preachers getting attacked, but you have people going out, passing out flyers for Church of Satan, Church of Scientology, trans awareness, a gay rights parade, and you have all this. But the second you do like a Christian event, or Christian-based anything, or Christian-based preaching, or pass out flyers for Church of Jesus, people are attacked and say, "Oh, you're evil, you're hate mongering, you're disrespectful." I mean, it's crazy, the level of physical and spiritual warfare that Christians come under. And I'm glad Trump has recognized that, and he's actually, making a difference to it. Him getting being attempted assassination on twice, and all this fake impeachments, and everything that they've done to this man has really radicalized him, and strengthened his faith. So, I mean, you can't say that Trump is evil. Yeah, he didn't put his hand on the Bible, but who knows why he didn't put his hand on the Bible when he swore, and maybe his hand was hurt and maybe he didn't lift it. I'm not making an excuse for the man, but Biden put his hand on the Bible, but that looked like a satanic Bible, and you're not for sure. And he did absolutely nothing to help Christians, only trans people.
Yeah, the Bible, the hand on the Bible thing is interesting. The only other president that didn't put his hand on any Bible or book of any other kind was JFK.
Yeah.
And I think it was because they had a Protestant Bible and he was a Catholic or something. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure the reason. But some people think it was a nod to JFK. JFK was the original conspiracy theory president who said he was going to break up all the secret institutions and organizations, and secret in a just and open society is a repugnant word, is the quote. So people are thinking that it was a tip of the hat to that. But that aside, yes, all Christians experience hatred. That goes with the territory, and St. Paul said that would happen, right? So so did Jesus, as a matter of fact. But one of the interesting things is when people say, "Oh, it's a separation of church and state. There shouldn't be any Christians, involved in government. No Christian theology, no nothing." 9 of the 13 original colonies required a declaration of faith to work in government. And remember, we're endowed by our creator certain unalienable rights. Like, it acknowledges a creator. It went it went without saying that it was a Christian God, as from what we understand it to be. So these are fundamental. The country's constitution was founded fundamentally on Christian principles and values, and all of these men, that the founding fathers, that they knew the Bible back and forth. These were, once in a lifetime brilliant men that got together and crafted our constitution, and and created our government. And so when the farther we get away from God, the more things go wrong, right? They go sideways. And I mean, I can't. One of the things that I think about, and theologically, and I talked to a pastor about this one time, but it was like, if my tax dollars are going to all this ridiculousness, if my tax dollars are going towards abortion clinics, am I held liable for that in heaven? Like, does that, how does that work? And the ultimate answer is, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. So, and ultimately Christ died for my sins. So even if, I was looked at in some way as participating in that evil, well, none of us are going to make it to heaven without Jesus's sacrifice that he made on our behalf. So, you're fine from from the way it works, theologically standpoint. But, I don't want to pay for abortions. I don't want to pay for transgender Guatemalans. Like, I don't want to pay for trans comic books in Ireland and all this sort of stuff. Like, I want my money to be used to help people in my life. I want to, in my community, my friends, my family. And it's so evil that now the left is whipping up that, the conservative Christian right is wrong for trying to end the theft of money. Like, we're stopping thievery, and it's not just thievery of me, it's all of us. So let's work together to fight our common enemy, because left and right, we don't have to agree, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So if we both have the same enemy that is stealing our money all the time, let's work together to stop it from stealing from us, right? And our favorite topic, one way to stop them from stealing from you is to get financially independent, because let's be honest, the less money we have, the tougher life is. So as we showed a few weeks ago, Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderoty, the CEO and CLO of Ripple, the company that manages XRP, the vast majority of XRP, was meeting with President Trump. Well, the New York Post has something interesting that I'm going to read to you real quick. So Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, here's King Brad right here, is said to be the leading candidate to take a seat on President Trump's cryptocurrency advisory board, which will be chaired by White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs, who's PayPal mafia. We'll talk about that in a second. Captains of industry and others are in a scramble to get on the panel. Everyone and their mother is begging to get on this council, because this is the future of money. And if you do your research on Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and the PayPal mafia, that involves Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, and Arthur Brito is involved, these mega tech billionaires, this has always been the direction that the money was going to move in. And fortunately, we've got Trump in charge. He's not going to start a CBDC. We can still have digital currencies, but they have to be independent of a central bank digital currency. They have to be independent of a government. You said something that we don't like on Twitter, so we're going to freeze your money, digital currency, which are possible. That's why it's so important that we get the right crypto guidelines in there, because the money has to function, freely, independently, and there has to be liquidity in the system. In other words, the whole thing has to work. So once again, another connection of Trump and Brad Garlinghouse and this guy David Sachs on when the news broke in June 13th, 2023, that the Judge Torres in the SEC Ripple lawsuit had stated that Ripple in and of itself is not a security. David Sachs talked about that on his podcast, right? So he knows all about Ripple. In fact, he celebrated that statement from the judge, which was a correct statement, because XRP is not of itself a security for Ripple. He was celebrating that on a podcast with a couple of other tech billionaires that he was on the day of. Like, it was like breaking news. I wish I could find the video, but he pulled up his phone. Oh, no way.
Yeah, I saw that. Now, just to also comment on what Paul's saying, they're not specifically mentioning XRP in any of these. They're just saying crypto, but they're also saying American-based crypto companies, and XRP and Ripple is an American-based crypto. Ripple is an American-based crypto company, and when they're going to create a strategic crypto reserve, XRP is going to be the currency. It's going to be the crypto that they use. It's going to be the one. They're also talking about putting everything on chain. Could you imagine if they put everything on the blockchain? All those USAID funds are going to be tracked. There's no hiding it. You can see who's getting the money, where it's going, what it's doing, and that there's talks of that. And Elon Musk is talking about putting everything on the blockchain. And what blockchain should they use? It's going to be Ripple. It's going to be XRP because it's unhackable. It's easy to track, and it's going to put an end to all this. Just fraud.
Fraud, misallocation of funds, thievery, like whatever you want to call it. One of the big sticking points for a technology is if it doesn't get adopted until people who don't know how it works can use it effectively. I don't know, if you ask me how my cell phone works, I don't know how to take a phone apart and solder it together and all the components and that sort of stuff. I just know how to turn it on and how to get to the apps I want. If you ask me how my car engine works, I don't know how a car engine works. I know that if I put gas in it, it'll go. And if I change its oil and, get the tires rotated regularly, it'll last a long, long time. But I don't need to know how every little bit of it works. Even a TV, think about it. They used to have TV repairmen. Now you just buy a new TV when the old TV breaks. With crypto, I don't think people are going to use Ripple as the currency. When we go to the food store, we're going to, swipe our crypto card. Eventually it'll get to that. But for right now, in the earliest adoption period, it's the mega banks, the big financial institutions that are going to use it for each other as the underpinning, mechanism to send and receive money. Above that is where you and me are going to be. Average people are just going to be using our dollars. We're not going to know that crypto is the thing that is settling the funds on the back end when we go and we buy, a steak at the, local Acme or your supermarket or whatever. What you're going to do is you're going to have everything running on XRP. It's the plumbing. The thing about the plumbing is, you don't look at the pipes. You don't want to see the pipes. You don't want to see the electrical wires. But it exists and it's doing its job and it's undergirding the entire mechanism of transfer.
Yeah, think of this. It started out people using checks and cash for payments, and then credit cards to send imaginary money that you don't have, and then we switched to debit cards to send actual money that you have in your account, but that's being sent. And then the debit cards started upgrading to the chips. Now it's the tap. So the cryptocurrency is the next stage. It's going from analog to digital, so it's going to be happening in the background. You're not going to understand. And right now it's still the early time to get in on it. The markets are down right now really bad. Yeah. And that's good. That's a good sign. That means you can buy more for cheap and get in before they flip the switch and it goes high. Because how Bitcoin started out under a penny and it just went up and it's over $100,000 now. Everything is going to be digital. Everything, all the paper trails, everything is going away. It's going to be digital, and it's your opportunity right now to get in on it. And if you miss it, don't come to Jarrell, don't come to Paul and say, hey, let me get some money, man. Please hook me up. I need it. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. Don't, because we've been warning you. We've been warning you since 2024 when we started this podcast to get in on XRP. And the time is limited. As soon as this lawsuit is officially dropped, as soon as Ripple goes IPO, as soon as these XRP ETFs go into effect, the price is going to go to unbelievable numbers. It's going to flip Ethereum and it's going to flip Bitcoin, and XRP is going to be the #1 currency. And you're going to miss the boat. It's leaving the dock. And right now, it just came back because it forgot something. That's why the prices are down. So get on it while you still have a chance, because it's going to leave the dock again and it ain't coming back.
And we don't even have like legal clarity from like legal framework through the Congress and the Senate, and then Trump signing off on it. That hasn't happened yet. Well, what if that happens this year? The lawsuit is dropped this year. All the XRP ETFs come through. All the the big banks all go and buy in. You're looking at a once in a lifetime opportunity, of price movement. Because right now it's I think like $2.50. If it's going to be used for all the banks to pay each other faster, more efficiently, and save them money in the process while allowing them to pay each other more quickly and efficiently, that it's going to be worth a lot of money. So, get in while you can. And I mean, really, it's $250. If you spend $1,000, you get 250 of them. And then if it goes to $10,000, well, now you've got what, $2.5 million or whatever it is. Like, you don't have to break. I told my buddy who was starting to get into it, and this is the same thing I tell everybody, because they're like, "What do I do?" I said, "Just try to get to 1,000." Because let's be honest, some of us don't have $2,000 lying around where we can just throw down and get 1,000 XRP, right? But if you buy a little bit, even if you're buying just a little bit at a time, a little bit each week, that's how I got started. I just bought like 100 a week for a while.
Yeah.
And however you start,
that's what I do. I put $100 in a week.
Yeah, I'm down to 25. Times are tough. But like, but that's how you build your position, and it's coming. It might not be tomorrow, and it might not be 6 weeks from now, but 6 months from now, maybe, and definitely 6 years from now, without a doubt. So get in while you can. And if you're not trying to buy it, then you might not get invited to the yacht party when that time comes. So, be prepared. And remember, we're having fun now, but like, this is think about the way that Trump works is in this version of him that we have, he's trying to stop the fraud, the thievery, the money laundering. If you have all the transactions that the government does on a blockchain that gets audited every 6 months or whatever, there will be no more fraud. You can't do it. We can track every single digital dollar that is sent. So this is an extremely effective mechanism, not to track us, because if you put in the correct legal framework, we can be protected and have our privacy insured. But if you're a public servant, which is what these people are supposed to do, they should be audited. They should be tracked. You should not have people going into Congress being worth $0 and leaving worth $100 million 20 years later. We need to know all the money, where it's going, where it's coming from for our public servants, because obviously this system is absolutely corrupt. And one more, and anyway, but blockchain can solve all this USAID stuff that we've been showing you. But one more thing before I lost it already. But anyway, this is going to stop the USAID. Oh yeah. What about I remembered. What about the national debt? Well, you keep seeing Brad Garland. This is a conspiracy theory time. I have no proof of this. This is just my thoughts on how it could transpire. But you see Brad Garlinghouse associated with Trump quite a bit. Wouldn't it be something if over a dinner, over dinner, Brad went to Trump, which we already know they got dinner, and the CLO was there too. So the top two guys at Ripple were there. The two guys who, handled all the XRP or 50% of it or whatever it is. Effectively all. What if they said to Trump, listen, you want to stop the fraud? We have the means to do it on our blockchain. You want to get rid of the Federal Reserve? We have the means to do it because of our blockchain, because of, the interoperability we have with all the other networks for the how cheap and efficient XRP and the XRP ledger is. And this is Brad talking to Trump. As a courtesy to you for deciding to use XRP, well, we don't want XRP to end up being a matter of national security. In other words, Ripple can't get too powerful that it's all of a sudden, the government is beholden to Ripple. Just then we have a brand new Federal Reserve like we have now, and it's just here comes the new boss, same as the old boss. What if Brad said to Trump, how about Ripple will gift the federal government 10 billion XRP for free? Because remember, there's 99.99 billion XRP that exists right now.
And there's 37 billion in Ripple escrow.
In Ripple escrow, exactly. So what if they have it laying around that they could do this? They say, we're going to give you give the federal government, as part of your strategic crypto reserve, enough XRP that when the switch is flipped and all the banks, get into the system, and it goes from, now we're giving this to you for free, Donald. Right now, XRP is worth 250. To perform the intended use case of XRP, the price would have to be at a minimum $10,000. So we'll give you $1 billion worth. We'll give you 1 billion XRP, or however 10 billion XRP, and then by the time it goes to $10,000, you can use that to pay off the national debt. We have a new currency, and we're in a new age. We have switched over to treasury notes. We're done with the federal fiat crap. It's also possible that Trump just says, the Fed is bankrupt, we're just not using them anymore, and we don't have to sell XRP to pay off debt. But what I'm saying is, we can start thinking of ways to literally pay off the national debt using XRP. This is a real thing that can happen. Not only will it stop the foreign fraud and money laundering and thievery that's been going on, but it can also be used to hold our politicians, accountable, and it can also be used to pay off our national debt. This is a really exciting opportunity. So again, get in while you can.
And what that means for the average Joe, you and me, is that we can get in and get a piece of that. Imagine when they decided, let's create the US dollar, and you get in on that, you would have so much money right now. So right now is your opportunity, and you don't even need a lot. Like Paul said, all you need is at least a minimum 1,000, and that is life-changing money, because when they flip that switch and it goes to 10,000, you got $10 million right there. So just sit there and think about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen sometime within Trump's term. His term here, 4 years. We're only 3 weeks in, and this man has already made radical changes to the country. I can feel the changes that he's made. It's so crazy. The last 4 years with Biden, I felt every mistake that the government has made. I feel it going to the grocery store, going to the gas pumps. I feel it looking at my paycheck each week. When the taxes come out, I feel it paying taxes. And, when, Trump is making these changes, I feel it and I feel better. I am in a better mood. I'm like, yes, I know my money isn't being laundered. I know it's not going to go to, professional window lickers. It's not going to go to the fund to see how many holes does a straw have. It's not going to go to any stuff like that. It's going to go to real things. And I have a plan for using my money, because I don't want to give the government any more money. I don't. I want Trump to cut income tax, and I want to be able to use my money, and I don't want to pay capital gains tax on my crypto. And can you also imagine when that happens, not having to pay capital gains tax on XRP if it goes to $10,000? You'll be unstoppable. You can just put your money on an exchange and pull it out and not have to put it in a trust.
Yeah, and Trump said he doesn't want to tax American cryptos. So the framework isn't in yet. He's told you what he's going to do. Most Bitcoin is mined in China, and there's no central, owner of Bitcoin, except, yes, it is. It's all the miners in China, and it's Satoshi, whoever that is. There's four Satoshis.
Whoever Satoshi Nakamoto is.
It's four different dudes pretending to be one dude, but that's, another podcast worth of, information. That's just the short version. But they're not going to use Chinese Bitcoin. They're not going to use Canadian / Bahamian Ethereum. They're going to use an American crypto, which is XRP Ripple, which is Solana, which is Cardano, which is Stellar Lumens, which is Hedera Hashgraph. Yeah, and those are the XDC is a quant. Those are the utility tokens that are from American companies that are going to be tax free. So ultimately, and I got it on the screen now, Trump wants to abolish the federal income tax, but before he does that, they're crafting crypto regulations right now. They already have like a task force for researching crypto, and he said he wants to have the regulations in his first 100 days and legal framework done. We have a pro-crypto majority Congress. We have a pro-crypto majority Senate. We have there's already been bills that have been introduced to abolish federal income taxes. So position yourself accordingly. They're telling you what you want to do. And all the noise is, oh, same old Trump. He's just a big bully. They're trying to starve kids in Africa by cutting this USAID. Don't buy into that crap, which is all it is. Do your own research and understand that they don't want you to get rich.
Yeah, listen, one thing important. By the time you hear about it, it's usually too late to get in. And right now, they're not mentioning specific. They're saying American cryptos. They're saying Bitcoin. They're not saying any other crypto. That's all they're saying. I personally didn't hear about Bitcoin when it first came out. I didn't hear about Bitcoin till it was well over $20,000. I didn't even know it existed, and if I knew about Bitcoin, I would have got in. But right now, they're not mentioning it. They're keeping it on the wraps while the price is low so that the institutions could get in. They're buying it on the back end while you don't know about it. So right now, it takes people like me and Paul and other crypto content creators to talk about it, and you got to look at that. But right now, it's still the perfect time to get in because the general public doesn't know about it. There's probably only 6 million people that own XRP in the whole entire world.
Less than that, yeah.
Yeah, less than that. Less than 6 million people in the entire world own XRP, and that's everywhere in Korea, Japan, and right now we're waiting for the institutions to get in and buy it. And what they are doing is they're buying it on the back end. So by the time the whole world hears about it, like they heard about Bitcoin, it's going to be too late. Everyone's going to be priced out. No one's going to be able to buy anything. So right now it's very important that you pay attention to this. And we're saying it right now. This is life-changing opportunity for you to build generational wealth for you and your family. Because even when people find out, there's probably still going to be less than 10 million people. Right now, there's less than 6 million people. There's probably still going to be less than 10 million people that own XRP by the time the switch is flipped. So heed our advice and go and invest in XRP. Okay.
Do your own research, not financial advice, but also go buy XRP.
Yeah, do your own research, not financial advice. Yeah. But anyways, that's our end of our episode, guys. We want to thank you. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Again, thank you for all the reviews. Keep subscribe, share, and leave us some feedback in the comments. Anything you guys want to talk about, we'll go ahead and discuss. So, stay tuned for the next one. I'm your host, Joel Prasad, signing off.
And I'm Paul Campbell, also signing off.
All right. See you on the next one.